Welcome to Deaton Street. Today, we're going to go over Adobe's new terms of service and their kind of backtrack on those a little bit. But before we get into that, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you find the conversation that we're having interesting, pop a comment down below. Helps out a lot with the old algorithm. Dustin, now Adobe came out with the terms of service, then it came out with a retraction to the terms of service or a clarification. What the heck happened the last couple weeks?
So, as a lot of you probably don't know, but you may know, I'm a huge Adobe fan. This stink up started. They released a new update earlier this year, I think February-ish. Don't quote me on that, but it was earlier. But there was a new terms of service update that happened that started getting pushed out to people here recently within the last couple weeks. That was basically stating that Adobe had full access to any of your content that you were putting on. It was able to review that content, take it off if it were to be incriminating or dangerous or something along those lines. You could not opt out of it. There was just, you hit this yes button and you can continue using Adobe products. That was the huge issue for a lot of people. They weren't able to opt out of this thing because of the way they worded it. It seemed like Adobe was trying to basically steal your data and train AI and all this stuff, and it can do what it wanted with it. It can, you would see maybe you put out a video and then, and this is like quotes from various YouTube videos that I had watched on people just so aggravated about this, but they were thinking that it was, I'm going to put out a video. Well, then Adobe is going to have access to that and then train AI. And then somebody else, you're going to see your thing recreated AI on someone else's product or whatever. I don't think that's the case. I might get completely wrecked in the comments for going this way with it.
No,
but
it's
that's
okay.
what we're here for.
Yeah, let
Exactly.
me. So we pulled up a kind of before and after photo, which I sent over to you. We'll have this up. And
Yeah.
so the main part of this is privacy, which is, it's cool when they're
Kinda.
messing with the privacy
Yeah.
areas, it's privacy minded folks. But so it's privacy 2.2, our access to your content. It used to say we will only access, view, or listen to your content in limited ways and only as permitted by law. That used to be what it said. Right. So very restricted on the access to content. It changed to we may access, view, or listen to your content defined in section 4.1 below through both automated and manual methods, but only in limited ways and only as permitted by law. So it went from we will only do it this way to we may. Now, Adobe has come back out and they've tried to clarify what they meant by this. And their answer does make a little bit of sense, right? I don't want to take the side of Adobe. I'm not an Adobe user. I don't like Adobe. But essentially what they're saying is, look, we're kind of already accessing your data in limited ways when you use some of our products, especially our AI automated products, right? If you use something of ours that is using some type of generative AI, you're sharing data with Adobe and they're accessing your content. So they're trying to bring their terms of service to the present. It was very backdated. Now, that being said, that's the only part of this I'm going to take Adobe's side, because if you're going to change terms of service, especially privacy terms of service, you need to be better at wording it than they worded that, because that is very broad. They went from very limited scope to being able to access to your data to a very broad scope, which is why everyone freaked out, rightly so. The other part of it is maybe have some type of clarification instead of just having this pop up as you use your Adobe products. We're not lawyers. You and we know lawyers. I know a privacy lawyer. We both know a privacy lawyer, right? I don't want to have to call him every time that Adobe is popping a terms of service update, especially if I'm a content creator. So all around, I think I get where Adobe's heart was, or I hope that's where their heart was. It's so broad, you don't really know. But they just did a really, really terrible job of throwing marketing out there or communicating it. And then the language of it, I think they've even said they're going to go back and change it over the next couple of weeks, because it is incredibly broad and legally could open the door for them to use your content to train the old AI algorithms.
Yeah, it was a huge stink up in like the Adobe community, like so much so that people were like, I'm canceling Adobe right now. They're not getting my content. Like that's how um much it was interpreted one way and how
Right.
much their terminology was just kind of super vague, you know. Uh so much so that I might
Uh-oh.
have made a purchase.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, buddy. You coming over to the dark side?
I might have made a
Let's
purchase.
go. You've heard it here first, Deaton Street. The recording date is
Is it the 16th of
June
June,
June 16th.
2024?
We are officially saying that DaVinci Resolve is the best editing software, and we'll
No,
never have
no,
that
no,
debate ever
no,
again
no,
on this channel.
no. I
It's
don't know.
settled. Whoever's
Maybe
editing this, please
not.
cut out his mic. Um,
I'll be sure to do that later.
yeah.
Now,
Um,
I have been using DaVinci for the Deaton Street stuff. I do enjoy Adobe's UI and everything. That's not really the whole point of this video. There was a direction that you wanted to go with it.
sure.
After, you know, we kind of
Get me
talked
back on
about
track. I got too excited.
Oh no, dude, I'm all over the place today.
So the reason people are untrusting of something like this is because we're seeing it happen all around in the creative space, but also any type of AI space. So earlier this year, we made, I think, at least one video, maybe two videos about OpenAI Sora, which still today I cannot find if they are admitting to or not admitting to using YouTube content to train Sora. How insane is that? Look,
It's still such a funny interview to me, man.
it is. There's two of them that are not great.
Yeah.
The first one is just like she wouldn't answer the question. And the second interview, which was with Sam Altman, he says, we're not going to really tell you if we're using YouTube, but if we are, we should probably pay you. Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
you should.
Nobody's getting paid.
My bank account's open, brother.
Right.
What are you doing? So we're seeing that with Sora. We're also seeing that with ChatGPT, which is another OpenAI company or product that has contracted with Reddit to use Reddit to train ChatGPT. Reddit posts. So, look, and Reddit posts include, I'm sure, videos, and I'm sure it includes if you're sharing, I don't know, if you're an artist and you're sharing your art on Reddit, it's probably going to get sent over to the old OpenAI so they can use that for DALL-E and also for Sora. This is only the start of this. We're at the very beginning of this story, and I really think it's going to get a lot worse. I think someone should do something about it.
Well, I mean, maybe somebody should do something about it. It could. Somebody could do something about it.
That's what you can do as a consumer, but and we're not a political podcast. We're not even really a podcast. We're not a political channel. We will never be. But this is a situation where I think it might be a good idea to just write to your representatives, whoever they are. And let's start this conversation because it's going to get worse out there for creators. And we're going to have to continue to not trust companies that we have been using to create for a long time.
I mean, you say that in a later video in the week, we probably will talk about another company that is moving in that direction.
Right. Yeah.
So it's already happening. How fast it'll happen is just up in the air at this point. But I mean, it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is. And it's just such a crazy time where companies are trying to help folks be creative by stealing other creative people's work and not really being open about it.
Yeah. I mean, what was the thing that we talked about before? Like AI is going to basically, take everybody's jobs and do all this stuff. But we're not going to do that. It's going to create more jobs and it's going to help you. And I'm sorry, but that's exactly what it's doing in a vast majority of what AI can do.
Yeah. I mean, anytime that a computer or a device can do something that a human historically has done, there are going to be jobs that are changed or taken or however you want to phrase it, right? It's just the theft that is just driving me nuts about this. And just
Mhm.
the idea that it's a simple terms of service is going to get people this riled up, and that it's justified, that we should be distrusting. You show Black Magic, and I have no reason to distrust that company. I actually
Mhm.
really like Black Magic. But it just seems like one after another, we're just seeing each of these companies turn to the dark side. And I
It's only
wonder.
a matter of time before Da Vinci joins the dark side. Who knows?
I
I
hope
hope
not.
not. I
But,
hope not.
there certainly are ethics of AI. It is maybe political or ethical or whatever, and maybe we can have an ethical conversation about it, or continue the ethical conversation about it below in
In
the
the
comments.
comments.
Yeah. But just in general, do you have any final parting words about the state of AI and content creation? And
I I'm still of the opinion where AI is going to continuously basically just kind of cut out the creative juices from everybody.
yeah,
And as far as Adobe goes, I'm hopeful that they can fix whatever stink they've done or recommunicate correctly and all this other stuff, because I really like Adobe. But at the same time, like, there's so many different factors that are pointing like everybody away from Adobe.
right.
Not only um this whole stink up, the terms and services and stuff. So uh AI is just kind of, I'm still standoffish about it. I'm even less inclined to try out Sora whenever it is available
Right.
from
Yeah.
before, where we were kind of like, yeah, that'll be kind of cool to play with.
I get that. I get that sentiment. Look, I will say this, parting words from me.
Mhm.
You don't have to listen to me, but
Yeah,
keep
don't listen
making
to
a
me.
fuss. Keep
Yeah.
making a fuss. When stuff comes out, the best thing you can do is make a huge fuss online and make them say they won't do the thing that we're worried about them doing, because they're not going
Hmm.
to come out and say it beforehand.
Nope.
Well,
Huh?
let us know in the comments what you think. Is this too overblown? Are we making a fuss about nothing? I don't think so, but let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
See ya.